So for this experiment, you will be needing 5 alcohol burner stands, a box of large metal paper clips, 5 cans with lids, a butane lighter, a liquid thermometer, distilled water, food items that you will be burning, also a graduated cylinder and ring stand with clamps are optional. And if you will be doing your experiment indoors, a fume hood would be a good idea, but if you want, you can just open up a window or do your experiment outside. You will also be needing 3 different types of the food that you'll be burning, and for this I used cashews, pecan halves, and almonds. So first off, you want to be measuring your food sample, and for my first experiment I decided to use an almond, and on its own the almond weighed 1.14 grams, but then I inserted a paper clip into the almond, and I had to bend the paper clip into this triangular shape to make it stand upright. And then I placed the paper clip along with the almond on top of the can lid, and I measured all 3, and in total they weighed 17 grams. Now you want to be doing this because after you burn your food item, it might get all crumbly and it'll burn your hand if you touch it, or you'll drop it somewhere and it'll crumble and you won't be able to measure it. So this is for safety purposes. Not to mention that it will help you measure your food sample after it has been burned a whole lot easier. Next, you will take an empty can and place it on your balance, and on its own, my can weighed 30.74 grams, but once I put water in it, it weighed 83.04 grams. And the temperature of the water inside the tin can before it was placed on top of the alcohol burner stand was 15.96 degrees Celsius. Once you have measured your tin can with and without water, and also measure your mass of the lid, paper clip, and food together and separately, we can start to build the placement for which you will be burning your food sample. So what I did here was I just placed the lid with the paper clip and almond on top of the table, and I put an alcohol burner stand over it, and on top of the alcohol burner stand I put the tin can full of water, and I left the top of it open. Afterwards, you just take your butane lighter or matches or whatever you choose to use to burn your almond, and just hold it up against your almond, and it took me quite a while to get the almond to ignite, so it will take a few tries, but if you're lucky you can get it on the first try. Also, if you will be doing your experiment indoors like how I did, make sure to use a fume hood or open up a window. I found that the easiest and quickest way to get your food sample to burn up was to hold the lighter near the base of where the almond and the paper clip meet, and just hold it for a few seconds, and it should slowly start to catch on fire. Once you get your food sample to light on fire, you just have to wait for the lighter to burn itself out. Once that happens, just wait until it's cool enough to handle the lid. Once the lid has cooled down, just place the lid on top of the balance, and my lid almond paper clip model weighed 15.96 grams, and it used to weigh 17 grams, so it lost about 1.6 grams during the process of burning. Afterwards, just take your tin can full of water, and with your liquid thermometer, just measure the temperature of the water in degrees Celsius, and try and not to get the tip of the thermometer to touch the bottom of the can. The water inside of the tin can before I burned the almond measured 15.96 degrees Celsius, and after I burned the almond, it measured 44.4 degrees Celsius, so the measurement went up 28.44 degrees. Moving right along, the next food sample that I used was a pecan, and mine weighed 18.5 grams. The model with the pecan paper clip and the tin can lid weighed 17.94 grams in total. The mass of this can was also 30.74 grams. I added 69.66 grams of water into the tin can and it then weighed 100.40 grams. Then I used a liquid thermometer to measure the temperature of the water, and as you can see, I was just waiting for the thermometer to stabilize and find the accurate temperature. And be careful not to touch the pointy tip of the thermometer into the bottom of the can because too much pressure might break the thermometer. And as you can see, the temperature of the water was 18.3 degrees Celsius. Again, using my butane lighter, I just held it near the base of the almond in the paper clip, and after a few clicks I was able to get the almond to ignite. And I found that using raw almonds is better than like roasted almonds because they're already roasted, they've already, been exposed to heat. So raw almonds works best, and here you can see the flame gets pretty high, so make sure you stay away and you're wearing protective gear, and make sure you have a window open nearby. Just wait for the fire to burn out, and once it's safe enough to handle, take the lid and place it on your balance. Before, the initial mass of the lid, paper clip, and the food sample, which here in this case was the pecan, weighed 17.94 grams, and after being burnt, it weighed 16.22 grams. 1.72 grams in calories of weight was lost during the burning process. Using the liquid thermometer without touching the tip of the thermometer to the bottom of the tin can, I just wait for the thermometer to stabilize the temperature. And as you can see, the final temperature of the water is 48.6 degrees Celsius. There was a 32.38 degree rise in the water temperature. The last fruit sample that I used were cashews, and on its own, the one I used weighed 1.47 grams, but along with the paper clip and the tin can lid, it weighed 17.57 grams. Again, for the last time with your butane lighter, just ignite your food sample and wait for it to burn out. The fire can get pretty intense, so make sure you're standing a safe distance away from the burning sample. The water temperature before the cashew was burned was 20.6 degrees Celsius, and there was a 17.1 degree rise in the temperature, and the maximum temperature of the water after the cashew was burned was 37.7 degrees Celsius. The final mass of the lid, the paper clip, and the cashew was 17.57 grams, and after the sample was burnt, it weighed 16.27 grams, and there was a 1.3 gram decrease in the weight of the cashew, lid, and paper clip model. The cashew was also the only nut that crumbled after it burnt, and as you can see, a piece of it fell off, and that's actually why we ended up having to put it on the paper clip on top of the lid, so that once we were handling it, if it crumbled, we wouldn't be able to get a proper measurement.